Remember this no dialogue, no complicated backstory, just a cat, a mouse, and a level of beautiful, chaotic cartoon violence that has never been matched for over 80 years. Hollywood has been trying to recapture that magic. They've tried everything from talking movies to modern CGI, and for the most part, they've all missed the mark. Why? Because the Tom and Jerry we all remember wasn't just a cartoon. It was a perfect storm of silent comedy, musical genius, and a lost style of animation. Today we're breaking down exactly why nobody can seem to recreate it. The original Tom and Jerry shorts created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera at MGM back in 1940 are more than just a fond memory, they're a masterclass in animation. During their original run, the shorts won an incredible 7 Academy Awards for Best Animation Short Film, a feat that placed them in the highest tier of theatrical cartoons, yet for all their success and worldwide fame, that classic magic seems locked in the past. There have been countless reboots, shows, and movies, but they almost always get the same reaction from fans. It's just not the same. The issue isn't a lack of talent or better technology, it's that modern productions don't seem to grasp that the original success came from 3 core ingredients, working in perfect harmony, a formula that the modern animation industry has almost completely abandoned. To understand why you can't just make more Tom and Jerry, you have to understand what made it work in the first place. The first and maybe most important pillar of classic Tom and Jerry is its silence. Before global streaming, the lack of dialogue made the cartoon universally understood. The humor wasn't about a clever joke or pop culture references, it was about pure primal language of physical comedy. This creative choice forced Hanna and Barbera to become masters of visual storytelling. Every joke and every emotion had to be shown through actions, expressions, and timing. You can see it in the characters' designs themselves. Tom, the arrogant and endlessly determined predator, and Jerry, the clever and resourceful mouse. Their dynamic is crystal clear without a single word. This simple conflict is the engine of the show, allowing the endless escalating chaos. The comedy comes from seeing a trap being set, watching the characters' faces as it all goes wrong, and then getting that explosive payoff. It's a simple formula, but the execution was genius. This is where so many modern reboots go wrong. The impulse to update the show often means adding dialogue. The 1992 movie is famous, or infamous, for giving them speaking roles. A decision that instantly took these larger-than-life characters and grounded them into boring reality that they were never meant for. When Tom and Jerry talk, they stop being universal symbols of chaos and become just another pair of wisecracking cartoon characters. The visual gags take a backseat to the plot, and the perfect comedic rhythm gets broken up by pointless chatter. The silence wasn't a flaw to be fixed, it was the foundation of the show's brilliance. By taking it away, you aren't updating Tom and Jerry, you're breaking it. If the slapstick was the engine, the musical score was the fuel, and its composer, Scott Bradley, was the third main character in every short. In the classic Hanna-Barbera era, the music wasn't just in the background, it was a part of the story. Bradley's scores were complex, lightning fast, and perfectly synced to every move on screen. A tiptoe was met with delicate pizzicato strings, a frantic chase would explode into a full orchestra frenzy. The music didn't just support the action, it was the action. Bradley was a classical trained composer who treated cartoon music as a serious art form, mixing classical jazz and even complex 12-tone techniques into his work. His scores were known for being incredibly demanding. MGM Studios musicians reportedly found his music as some of the most difficult they had to play. This dedication is what gave the shorts their unique energy. The music set emotion tone, built suspense, and often delivered the punchline with a perfectly timed simple crash. In shorts like The Cat Concerto and Joanne the Mouse, the music wasn't just a feature, it was the entire point, with the animation built around the virtuosic classic performances. The final pillar is one you can actually feel, the physical impact of the animation. The original Tom and Jerry shorts were made for movie theaters, and MGM poured money into them. Each 7-minute short had a budget that could be around $50,000, and took weeks to make, allowing for a stunning level of detail. They used full animation where characters were drawn on new cells for nearly every frame. This technique, along with a masterful use of principles like squash and stretch, gave the characters a real sense of weight and volume. When Tom got hit by an anvil, he didn't just tip over, he compressed like an accordion, his body bending in impossible but somehow believable ways. And that brings us to timing. The genius of the original shorts is the perfect comedic rhythm. The animators knew the power of a pause, that split-second beat before a punchline hits where the audience can see the disaster coming. They knew exactly how long to hold on Tom's face as he realized his own trap is about to snap back on him. This careful control of pacing builds tension and makes every gag land perfectly. This approach is a world away from the limited animation style that had came to dominate television. As studios including Hanna-Barbera, after they left MGM, moved to TV, they had to make cartoons faster and cheaper. This led to them reusing animation cycles and animating only small parts of a character like their mouth or their arm. While it was a smart business move, it made cartoons feel stiffer and flatter. Many modern reboots use digital tools that, while clean, often can't replicate that organic, weighty feel of the hand-drawn originals. The frantic rush of TV production often leaves no room for the kind of meticulous timing that made the classic gags so funny. When you look at it all together, it's obvious why so many reboots have struggled in trying to be modern or save money. Each new version chipped away at one of these three pillars. The Gene Ditch directed shorts from the early 1960s are a famous example, produced in Czechoslovakia on a tight budget by animators who weren't familiar with the originals. These cartoons just feel off. The animation is choppy and surreal, the sound effects are strangely realistic, and the rich music was replaced by an eerie, sparse score. Though they were commercially successful at the time, many fans and critics now find the shorts just to be unsettling and mean-spirited instead of funny. The Chuck Jones era that followed in the mid-60s had a more polished look, but it changed the dynamic. Jones, a legend from his Looney Tunes work, brought a more psychological, slow-burn style of humor. The gags were less about explosive chaos and more about the agony of anticipation. They're artistically interesting, but they don't have the same frenetic energy of the Hanna-Barbera shorts. And then you have the modern take, from TV shows that have to tone down the violence for kids, to direct-to-video movies that sideline Tom and Jerry in their own stories. Some recent films have even made the baffling choice to focus on human characters turning the duo into sidekicks in a live-action plot that nobody asked for. These projects often feel more driven by managing a brand than by creative passion, using a recognizable name to sell something that's lost its soul. So why can't anyone recreate Tom and Jerry? Because the original wasn't just a formula, it was a delicate ecosystem. It was a product of the silent film era's focus on a visual gag, the big studio era's dedication to lavish production, and the one-of-a-kind talents of Hanna-Barbera. And the musical madman Scott Bradley changed the animation and gags lose their weight, add dialogue, and the universe humor vanishes. Replace the music and the cartoon loses its heartbeat. The classic Tom and Jerry was a perfect storm of talent, money, and creative freedom that just doesn't exist in the same way today. It's not just a cat chasing a mouse, it's a lightning in a bottle. A masterpiece of animation that will probably never be captured again. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into classic animations. And let me know in the comments, what was your favorite all-time Tom and Jerry short?